Hi, good evening, everybody, and good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is you are in the world. And there's a few here from different time zones. So this is a new one in the schedule. That after speaking with Derek, and what prompted this was I had a few people in my team come back to me. They were getting less than positive results on their team building. So essentially, these meetings are going to be for people who are looking to team build. Really, essentially, if you're looking to just sit there passively on your fantastic business that compounds you every week, that's great. But this really essentially is for those who want to expand that and share it with others. And I was getting some feedback from people saying they were quite excited, quite enthusiastic, and they really wanted to get this thing moving. But they were getting some negative feedback and struggling a bit with contacting people. And it kind of takes the sails out of people's winds when they do that. So that's why I decided to start these meetings, and we'll carry it on and driven by yourselves, because at the end of the day, it's your meeting, guys. Your information, all your stuff, your input is much valued, and we'll get some of that a bit later on. Okay, so why do we get negative responses? Well, I think we're going to cover this first of all. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over to Derek shortly. Okay, so why do we want a team build? Okay, that's the key thing, isn't it? Well, we know that team building is in this type of business can accelerate our income drastically, or do we? And that's the thing. I think people don't quite understand it, and I have to confess, I don't fully understand it myself. So I spoke to Derek, and Derek is a bit like me in character. He doesn't go for too much detail and information and cross the T's and dot the I's. However, Derek has made a point of studying this, and I can learn a lot from Derek. Derek's my upline. Most of us are in Derek's group here. Bethany is Derek's upline here. So we've got a wealth of experience here when it comes to this kind of business. Derek and I got combined probably 50 or 60 years experience in the affiliate marketing, network marketing, whatever you call it. So we kind of understand how it works. We don't really get negative results, really. People don't give us any negative feedback. So first and foremost is really, I think, understanding why we're going to be team building. What are the benefits to building teams? So that's why really I've kind of asked Derek to join us and help us along with this, because Derek understands this compensation plan. He's got a very, very large business, much bigger than mine. He understands how this works, the certain levels of the compensation plan, and how it can benefit each and every one of us, and those people you're speaking to as well. So first of all, I think that's the basis for it all, really, to understand what we've got our hands on, how we can benefit from the compensation plan. Once we know that, we can understand that, I think then we can go into a bit more detail on literally speaking to people and inviting them to look at this incredible opportunity and sharing it with them, I think. So without further ado, I think if I hand over to Derek, a little bit about Derek first of all. We've been knowing each other for some years now. We've been in business together. We were in the same business together many, many years ago. The daddy of them all network marketing businesses, and so we've got a lot of experience in that. Derek is a very, very fast builder. He built the last business we were in together very, very quickly, and got to the top of the compensation plan very, very quickly. And he's now an executive heading for a senior executive quite quickly. And so if you want to know how to move this business on, the best thing to do is hang on to Derek's coattails, listen to what he's got to say, because he's got a lot of information. So I recommend, if you've got a pen and paper handy, get it ready and make some notes, because it's going to get interesting. As we unfold this over the coming weeks, there's a lot of information going to be coming your way. So without further ado, hand over to you, Derek.
Okay, thank you very much, Colin. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, guys. Like Colin said, there's a number of things that prompted us to do this training. Now the team's growing bigger. In fact, I'd like to take my hat off to all of you and raise a glass to all of you, because you're growing currently at around 20 people per week, and that's no mean feat. So whoever's involved in all that growth, thank you very much, and well done, and congratulations. So the team's growing, and I see a day where we're going to be growing 20 a day, even 100 a day. That's going to be within the next year, definitely. The rate at which this is growing is faster than a lot of businesses I've been in the past. Although sometimes it seems like it's growing slowly for some people, it's not really. It's growing at a terrific rate. And I've seen what Colin's doing as well with his team, and they're growing really, really fast. So the first thing I wanted to try and sort of help people with was, when people say to you, I want to be passive, what they're actually saying is they're a bit worried about sharing it, or they're a bit, reticent. They're not sure how to share it, and they don't like talking to people. So one of the things over the coming weeks we're going to help people with is show you little things to say and do to people or with people to actually get that fear out of the way. Because one of the things that I understood about any type of business which involves referrals is that it always accelerates your income. And what I mean by that, I'll give you an example in a minute. I'm going to share some slides with you. But what I mean by that is, for example, I started in NOVATECH in July, and within 90 days, I have reached or had reached where I would have done on $500, by the way. That's what I started with. And I'm not doing this to blow my own trumpet. All I'm doing is showing you that if you do and are prepared to share it, it's amazing how fast you can accelerate it. So the income I was earning after the 90 days was equivalent to what I would have earned had I been passively earning on a 500 startup 5 years later. Understand the power of that. 5 years later. So what I'm achieving is actually 5 years in advance, but only because I help a few people get in and help them get a few people. And really, it's all about helping people help people, and that's what it's all about. So people bring people to me and Colin. Colin and I often do presentations for people, and we help people on board. And that's the way we grow our teams. And then we create leaders, people who then start doing their own presentations, etc. So let me get started without further ado, really. I want you to sort of get an idea of what NOVATECH is about. I remember when I first joined, when Bethany first introduced me to this, I didn't understand anything about the compensation plan. It was actually gobbledygook to me almost. And it took me a while because I was earning money, but I didn't know how it was actually coming in. So I started asking questions. I started looking at, even now, I bet I still make mistakes now. So the point I'm trying to make is that, I'm still learning. So if anyone does notice anything that I say wrong in the slides, I'm just like you. I only started about 5 months ago, and some of you have joined recently. But some people have a better understanding. Some people pick up the compensation plan and everything else very, very quickly. So the objective here is for you for us to break it down so that you understand it in simpler terms. I know some people find it harder. I do myself. So I like to be things to be explained in a simple way. So understanding the NOVATECH compensation plan. Okay, well, the first thing we need to understand also is that we have an agenda for today and on the coming weeks as well, because we're going to go through different aspects of it, including how to use what's it called again, Colin? See, I'm useless at this.
Calculator.
Yeah, the calculator. That's it. I lost it for a second. How to use the calculator properly, because that is a fantastic tool as well. So the agenda is on a weekly basis to fully explain and answer questions, to check your understanding of NOVATECH. Because if you understand NOVATECH and the compensation plan, then it's much easier for you to actually talk with people about it. And we're going to learn together. And I said as before, I can make mistakes too. So don't expect me to be presenting you with the perfect presentation. It'll evolve as time goes on as well. So that's the important thing. Okay, so this is what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a snapshot from my back office. And the reason why I want to show you this is to show you what's possible with a 500 startup in 90 days, 3 months basically. So when you just share with a few people, and we're talking about family and friends, we're not talking going out and recruiting, not talking about advertising, we're not talking about marketing. All I did was share it with a few friends and family. And the real secret is not to keep it a secret. So if you look at this screenshot of my back office, okay, currently there are about 232 people. 223 are in my family tree. The rest were brought in by upline. I think Bethany brought most of those in. And those are the people that are in our team as at yesterday, I think it was, 223. Okay, so think about this, right? I started with $500. 90 days later, or slightly more now, this is what it shows. So the return on investment on that 500 has grown because more money has gone in from the affiliate program. So the actual return on the investment in that period of time is 4.28 thousand. And the commission total is nearly double, 7.7. So the total earned so far in the 5 months is 11.98 thousand. The trading balance, I added 5,000. So if we take 5,000 off there, it's actually 11,000.73. So on top of the 500 I initially started with, recently I added another 5,000 of my own money. Okay, so this is just showing you what's possible by just sharing with a few people. And it's not designed to make you think, wow, anyone can achieve this if they're prepared to go to work. So the first thing we need to know about NOVATECH is the founders. Do study the videos that are available on Reverend Cynthia Petian and Eddie Petian and also Ricardo Roy. Study those videos, because by studying those videos, when people ask you about the company, about the founders, about the ethics, about the philosophy of the company, it comes from these leaders. So we need to know a bit about them. If you don't know anything about it, then it shows that you haven't actually gone to work and finding out a bit more about the people who are running the company. If you come across people who say, oh, it's a Ponzi, it's this, it's that, etc., you'll see that Cynthia in some of the videos talks about why it isn't a Ponzi, why it isn't whatever it is that people are throwing at you. So it's down to your poor research in the information that we've got, and most of it's in your back office as well. Okay, so who are we? NOVATECH is a subsidiary of NovaPay LLC and boasts some of the industry's top leading professionals worldwide. Our products and services are backed by ATMs, crypto, debit card transactions, and crypto and forex trading markets. And understand this, these are different profit centers. For all the people who said, somebody contacted me today and said, oh, I've got a bank manager and he said that this can't be true and it can't last, etc. They need to understand that there's a lot more to our profit than just crypto. Once you understand that it's a lot more than just crypto, you begin to understand where the 3% average is coming from. Our executive staff contains over 40 years of combined experience in blockchain technologies, cryptocurrencies, crypto and forex trading, professional networking, leadership and team building, software and project management, computer and network engineering, finance and education. Our trusted team of professionals can be heavily relied upon to deliver exemplary results to your online business. These are the people that are backing us up. These are the people that are heading up what we do. So if you know this, then you know that, anyone, you can squash anyone's idea about how it goes. So I'm going to talk about the business overview. Now, every week I'm going to cover different topics regarding the business and different aspects so that we get more knowledge about the company. So why are we different? Well, there's no expiration dates. A lot of companies out there who ask you to put money in have an expiration date, usually 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, where you have to keep the money in and you can't take it out. In some cases, you can take it out, but you can't take your capital out. Well, there is no expiration date. In other words, if you carried on growing your capital, your seed money, to the extent where it carried on into the millions, you can carry on. There is no cap. Access to your capital 24/7. Okay, the only stipulation is when you first join, between day 14 and day 90, there's a fee. Once you pass day 90, there is no fee on getting your capital out. The only thing is, it may take 7 to 14 days for any money that's trading, because it's in the trade, and the trade lasts, it lasts 7 days. So that's the only thing. Everything else you can take out straight away. I've already made several withdrawals and they've gone into my account within 24 hours. My bank account, that is. So there's no earnings cap. You can earn whatever you're prepared to work towards. No withdrawal limits either. So you can take out any amount. The only thing is, if you have got a large sum in your trading, make sure you don't take it all out, because then your account is deleted. You've got to start again. Make sure you leave some in there. Don't take every single penny out. You know, one of the things we do recommend in the presentation is that after 7 months, if you're a bit risk averse, take out your capital that you initially put in and then trade with the money that you made from NOVATECH. Don't have risk. So that way you can actually tell people, I have no risk. I'm playing with NOVATECH's money now. Okay, so the compensation plan is one of a kind. It's a hybrid compensation plan, was custom designed to be the purest and simplest income earning plan to help members build stronger and deeper networks. Whether you decide to participate part-time or full-time, everyone can benefit and start earning both passive and residual income right away. Okay, so advantages. Okay, so we have a leverage in holding tanks. So the holding tanks allows us to place people, and again, we'll cover these things separately in a later presentation, but leverage tank allows you, and as far as I know, I'll confirm this, it's still yet to be confirmed whether it might be a 10-day holding tank. Currently, I know it was 48 hours, which means you have a choice and you have time to think about where you're going to place somebody. And that's also very, very useful. Pays on all the legs. So we're paid on all the legs, not like these binary systems where you're paid on one leg and not the other. There's no benefit. You have to build one leg and two people, and it's just crazy doing these systems. Provides spillover to any member, including any inside legs, outside legs. It doesn't matter. Spillover can go anywhere. Profit-based earnings. So that means that it's sustainable, because the earnings come from profit. So if it's coming from profit, it's based on the earnings coming from profit, it means it's sustainable. Dynamic compression eliminates inactive accounts. So if there is an account that's actually inactive, it doesn't count. So what means, even if you see a position that's not active, the position underneath it will be active, and that's the one that moves up. So it doesn't matter if you actually physically see that, but apparently they get rid of them every few months. Rank advancement without sponsoring. So you don't actually have to sponsor a single person to be able to rank advance. And I'll explain a bit more about that as well. Weekly pay and access to your money 24/7. These are big advantages. Okay, so let's go through the way we get paid. And I'm going to cover all these one by one so that people understand. And what I want you to do, if you have any questions about any of these earnings, please ask questions at the end about the specific one if I haven't covered it enough or you don't fully understand what I've explained. So I'm going to go through them one by one. So the first thing we need to understand is we have a membership joining. Now, the reason why I put an X through the one on the left is because this one is really for builders. It's called the Builders Pack, which means if you're not going to be seriously building, you're not going to make any money. You're going to go backwards. And I'll show you a little graph to show you how that works. So we've got the bronze package, silver package, gold, and platinum. Now, at each level, when somebody goes, let's say, for example, this week, Cynthia joined at 2499. Okay. And now, because the interest earned on that is going to be over, 3% average, she's going to shift into the silver package next week. So that means by moving into the silver package, the person who sponsors her gets a bonus. And again, I'll explain how this all works. So what this is to do with the package. This is not to do with ranking. I know they have a platinum position here, but this is actually platinum purchased package, not platinum as in ranking position. There's two separate things. We also have a $25 monthly fee, which kicks in on the 5th week. This is why it's important to actually have more interest coming in than your actual $25 monthly fee, so you don't actually pay that out of your pocket. It comes out of your interest. Okay, so these are the packages. So this is the thing I wanted to show you. I'll quickly go over this. I'm not going to cover it too deeply, but if you look at it, the $100 startup on the left, those are the startup prices. This is anything up to 200, and it's showing how these are not viable. So even with one member joining with $100 under you, one new member, the amount of bonus, and which is $10, and the amount of interest gained is not enough to make it a viable balance. Your balance is decreasing because you're actually taking away $25 every single month. So now if you take the next stage where you've got 100 somebody joins at 100, if they're going to start getting people in, 2 people a month, and the bonus added to the trading balance 138.93, it becomes viable, but needs to maintain 2 new members every single month beyond 7 months to actually make this position viable. So when you get to the 7 months, you actually got, you know, your 500 or 400 extra to allow it to carry on, and so on. So really, we're talking about how to make the 100 builders pack viable. It's by the number of people you're able to join per month. So for example, in the third one, it says 3 people per month, takes 5 months to reach a balance of 200 and not need to rely on new members. Okay, so 5 months later, you're not reliant on new members. And the fourth one is 4 people a month, takes 3 months to reach a balance of 200. It's still hard work. So $200, you don't need to rely on any new people after 3 months. And 150 and so on. It goes 150 if you got 0 people is not viable. 150 carry on right down to 200. 200 becomes viable because it's very slow without any new members. So again, this is the reason why we say the builder pack is actually for builders. Don't use it just because you can't afford to come in, because it is hard work and you'll be going backwards and you won't be making any money. And this is why we try and avoid it if we can help it. Okay, so here are the affiliate packages. We're going to talk about the direct bonus first. So as people purchase these packages, you, their sponsor, will actually get the bonus. So the bonus, for example, for a bronze package is $50. Okay, and now if you look at the next one, silver, it's $125. Now, what happens is if somebody moves up from 2499, like I said before, to the next level, to silver, you're going to get $75 now instead of $125 because you already got paid $50. So it's retrospective. So if you look at that all the way along, somebody comes in at a gold package, 250, you'll get 125. But when they move up, and by the way, everyone does move up because the interest is coming on a regular basis. Also, people sometimes put more people in. Also, if they're growing a network, like myself, I went from $500 to $10,000, which is a platinum. So, you know, the higher you go, the more the bonuses that the sponsor gets. Okay, so direct sponsors receive all those bonuses, right up to president, where you get 3,750 or 5,000 if somebody comes in at that level. So I hope this is clear now. This is actually the packages that people join at, and the amount you get paid is dependent on those packages. Okay, so here we have the indirect referral bonuses. Now, this is again based on the packages, but it's for the people who bring people in. So if Cornelius brings in somebody called Francis, Francis is now on his first level. So Francis will get, Cornelius will get $250 for Francis on a bronze package. And then if Francis brings somebody else, Cornelius will get $1. And these are all one-offs, by the way. These one-off payments and the indirect referral bonuses. Okay, so these are paid according to the levels, packages that people move through. So everyone moves through the different packages. So it explains it in more detail. So this is for you and your team, right down to 7 levels. Now, initially, this is not something big, okay, because I get quite a few that come in at $1. But imagine you've got 100 people coming in at $1. That's $100 per time that actually happens every time somebody moves up. Okay, the fast start bonus is also very, very good. Now, this has got to happen within the first 45 days. So you directly enroll 3 people or more at the bronze level. Okay, that's the $500 package. And your first 45 days of registering them, you get $100. And if you get directly enroll 3 people or more at the silver level, sorry, 500, then in your first 45 days of registering, you get another you get $500, and this is a total of 600. So it's fast track bonus. You get 100 for the first 3 who come in at 500, and then it's $2,000 for the second 3, and then you get your 500, which is a total of $600. So that's only in the first 45 days. So if you talk to people, try and get them to get those goals straight away. Okay, so the next bit I'm going to talk about is check matching. Okay, and this is really, really good. Earn a percentage of your direct downlines trading profit every single week. Now, this is very, very powerful. I'm actually working on some slides currently. So if you bring in 5 members at $500 and they are passive for 1 year, a year later, you'll be earning over $100 per week off of those 5 people. So that's the 5%. Then the people they introduce, you get 2%. And by the way, this is the weekly ROI. So the weekly return on investment, you're getting a percentage of that. Then 1%, 1%, 1%, 0.5%, and so on. And those who know network marketing, the further down you go, the bigger the amounts of people. Okay, so it starts off at the top. You've got 3 people, they bring in 3, they bring in 3. If you just do that, 3, 3, 3, 3, then you've got several thousand by the time you come to 8 and 9. So you're earning quite a big percentage, even though it's a big amount, even though it's only 0.25%. So this is up to 9 levels. So these are the people you personally sponsor and their tree. So the family tree basically starts with the people that you personally sponsor and all the people downline from them. People that are brought in by your upline are not included in this. Okay, it's important to remember that. They actually are included in your volume, which is, again, a separate bonus. So this is up to 9 levels deep. Okay, why is it not moving? Okay, so residual income, and this is, again, something really good. We pay the $25 every month. So we benefit from that as well. So as soon as the first $25 goes out of anyone that you personally brought in, you get 5% of that, which is $250. Anyone below that, you start getting smaller amounts. So all that adds up again. You know, currently we have 223 people in my team overall. Some of you have like 50, 60, 70 people in your team. You're going to get 5% of your first line people, 2% of the people underneath, 1% of that, and 1%, and it carries on. Now, these again are small numbers to begin with, but as the numbers grow, these numbers grow. So, you know, expect quite dramatic changes after about 2 to 3 months. Okay, so rank achievement. Now, this is completely separate from the people joining at different packages. This is based on volume. Okay, so this volume is based on the 3 legs. So you have 3 legs. A platinum needs 25,000 coming in on 3 legs to actually achieve the platinum level. So if you sponsor somebody, they reach platinum. Again, this is good. What I like about this is without helping others, you can't move on to the next level. In fact, next time I'll probably show you in more detail how this works, because when you start going through the levels, you need to have a platinum, for example, in your team to get to junior executive. So if you help somebody, and it could be somebody that your upline brings in, it doesn't have to be a person that you personally bring in. So I don't know those people who think, you know, oh, how's the upline affecting me? Well, it affects you dramatically, because what's going to happen is as people rank advance below you, and it might be somebody that your upline's brought in, it will help you go up the ranks. So the way this works, platinum is somebody who achieves 25,000 volume in their 3 legs, and they get $100 bonus, and a junior executive gets 500, executive, etc., and it just carries on climbing up to 1,000, 2,500, etc. But what's really, really good about this as well is that you, as their upline, also benefit from sponsoring these people in. Okay. Profit sharing. This is higher ranks, senior executive directors and ambassadors. Now, this is really good as well, because obviously you're getting a share in the profits, and higher ranks will actually benefit from sharing up to 10% of the company's quarterly net profits. These are exorbitant amounts. I haven't actually asked anybody yet how much they're getting, but I do believe they're going to be very, very big. The company's got over $1 billion in their pool of money. So if you imagine they're making, they're paying out millions per week, there's going to be quite a considerable amount of profit in a quarter coming in. Okay. So key starting point with everything I've talked about, and again, I'll break these down into more detail in future trainings. I don't want to take up the whole training. Takes quite a lot to cover each in detail. I've covered them as much detail, and hopefully you understand better how they work, but then we'll cover them, break them down into even more detail in future training. So the key starting points. So your short-term goals really is plan to get your first 3 people in your first month. A total of 6 in your 45 days to qualify for the fast start bonus of 600. And your long-term goals should help 3 people, 1 in each leg, to achieve the same as what you've achieved. So they get their 3 people. If we just do the basics, we don't have to concentrate very much. Now, 3 people, it could be family, it could be friends, it could be, people we know. It doesn't have to be very many. If you've got something good in your hands, why wouldn't you share it? This is what I say to people. And then beyond that, advance to platinum. So the objective is to help people in your team get to the platinum level, and then basically duplicate. It is only by helping others advance that you will advance too. Okay, so thank you very much for listening today. Make sure you're added to our Telegram group, the ones who aren't, because that's where the information is on everything that we're doing. Your sponsor should be the one who adds you or asks their upline to add you. Keep you up to date and in touch with our presentations and your leaders in NOVATECH. Okay, I'll stop sharing now. And what I'd like to do is hand over to Colin. Actually, before we hand over to Colin, I suppose, Colin, we could open up for a few questions now. Have we got time to do that first?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to suggest that,
Okay.
Derek, is that at this point, anybody got any questions on the compensation plan, you particularly want to direct towards Derek?
Let me just quickly release everyone. Okay, put your hands up, guys, in orderly fashion, or indicate that you want to ask a question, and then we'll fire away. And we'll answer as best as we can. And if I can't answer it, hopefully if Bethany's available, she'll be able to answer it. Any questions, guys, on any of that compensation?
Not on the compensation plan.
Okay.
If someone is on the compensation, I will go after.
Okay. We'll come back to you then, Georgie. Anyone else?
Oh, she's done a very clear job of that, Derek.
No one? You all understand the compensation plan? It's very easy to understand, is it? No one any questions at all? Nobody concerned about certain aspects of it? I will be covering every aspect of that whole thing in more detail, where we break it down into even more detail. Bassam, I saw you earlier on. You unmuted. Did you ask a question? Oh, you're happy? Okay, good. Good. Okay. Telegram group, Samuel. Okay, Samuel, speak to your upline. I don't know who your upline is. They should have actually added you to the Telegram group. Well, actually, I'll tell you what. Who's in here? Who have you made co-host?
Ross,
if you can go to the Telegram group, Ross, and just pick up the link by going in there and just clicking on it. It'll say add person by link, and then put it in here so that people can add to it as well.
That's far too complicated for me, Derek. I'm terribly sorry. I have to rely on my extremely competent upline, Colin Brooks, to do everything for me.
Okay, I'll tell you what. When I come off speaking, I'll do it. It's okay.
Yeah,
Andy, you've got a question? You'll see if you're unmuted.
Yeah, just I want to know how you do.
Sorry, Kanye, you need to get closer to the mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yes.
Yes, can hear you.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the meeting, you said you talk about some dealing with rejections.
Yeah, that's the second part of this. That's what we're going to be talking about now. Yeah, Colin's going to be covering that. Yeah.
I'll go back on mute.
Okay. Anyone else?
Okay. I think,
Okay, well, the
I think
first thing I'd like to
Ju-
say is Colin's going to be one who's speaking about this mostly. I'll join in as well at stages.
I think
But the
George
thing
had
is,
a
I'd like to, yeah,
George
who?
had a question, didn't he?
Oh
I think
yeah,
George-
Georgie. Yeah, Georgie. Let's have your question first then.
Yes, yes. Hi.
Hi.
So today I speak with a prospect, and he's like specialized in finding scams and looking for the holes. Yeah, how to say. And he asked me, why is this why NOVATECH it's not registered in SEC, for an example, for the USA. He asked me, and also for the European Union. Also, he asked me why they are not registered in FCA, for an example, in the UK.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, as far as I know, Georgie, first of all, the company doesn't do any crypto trading in America. Okay, they're not allowed to. So they're only registered for, well, sorry, they do only crypto trading in America, and they do Forex overseas. So all other countries are Forex. So they're registered in America. As far as I know, they've got a certificate as well. And they're in fintech. So they've got that because of the ATMs and everything else. But as far as I know, they're a legitimate company, and they're also trading, properly trading and everything. And they've been around for quite a long time. There are some certificates flying around. I've actually seen them in different presentations and things that people have done. So I don't know if
essentially, Georgie, there's no requirement for it. Okay,
yeah,
so
there's no law about it.
In this country, the Financial Conduct Authority, they regulate companies who give financial advice. Okay, and they're very strict on that. So we don't give financial advice specifically, never give financial advice. So so there's no requirement to jump through the hoops and go through all the regulations that the FCA require in this country. Pretty much similar story for the Securities and Exchange Commission in the SEC in the United States. There's no requirement. I think actually we've got somebody here, Ross, who understands these kind of stuff. Ross, being a financial advisor, understands how this works. So I don't know if you want to chime in here, Ross, and kind of give your take on the situation. But essentially, George, there's no requirement for the SEC for this company. There's no requirement for the FCA either in this.
Yeah, we're not a bank or anything like that. A bank requires regulations.
Ross can tell you the ins and outs if you want to.
Yeah, carry on, Ross.
The Financial Conduct Authority, which was previously the Financial Services Authority, is set up by all the banks. So really, even though it's to protect the consumer, it's more really keeping all the banks in check and making sure they're all singing from the same hymn sheet. And if you look at the stuff that is registered by the FCA, the returns are very, very poor, because the banks will give you a very low percentage, 0.25%, if that, on your investments, while they are doing exactly what we're doing here with your money and making billions of pounds on that, on the benefit of doing that by playing the foreign exchange market, the Forex market. And that's why the banking system is so incredibly wealthy. And so it's really a sort of double-edged sword, really. A lot of people want to have it's got good aspects of it, in as much as if you have up to £80,000 protected in any savings or any bank account you may have in the UK. And that's a good thing, because if something happens to the bank, you are protected to £80,000 per person. But that's about it from that point of view. And you do have a certain redress if an investment you've gone into goes bad. But I would say my proof of how good NOVATECH is to give a very steady return of an average of 3%. And of course, no past performance can be a guarantee of any future performance. But by giving this every week 3% average for 3.5 years, it's just astounding. You don't even get that in a year with a bank. You don't even get anywhere near that with a bank. So what we've got here is incredible. And if it doesn't have the regulation, then nothing is ever 100% guaranteed. And the people that give guarantees, you're paying a lot more for it because of that guarantee. So what we've got here, in my opinion, even though I'm a financial advisor, is just fantastic compared to everything else that's out there on the market. If you do get a high percentage rate in a UK-based scheme, you probably have to lock it in for a year, 2 years, maybe 3 years before you can get access to your money at all. Here, you can not only get extremely good returns, but you can get access to your money. That's practically unheard of. That is practically unheard of. I've never heard of anything like it. So what we have here, I think people don't appreciate how fantastic this really is compared to the average investment in this country. So, NOVATECH, just brilliant. It's superb. Thank you.
Thanks, Ross. Did that answer your question, Georgie?
Yeah. I'm confident with NOVATECH, guys. Just the guy is specific. And for an example, I think Bethany is here. Also a question for her. How do you know if a Forex broker is legit? And he asked me, you can ask for the broker for their retail foreign exchange dealer. For an example, AirFed number. Or you can also check within the National Future Association or the Commodity Future Trading Commission. So he asked me these questions, guys, and I have no idea about that. I cannot check it because he's in these things. I'm not in these things, and he asked me very, very straightforward questions, and I cannot answer it. He asked me, how do you know if a Forex broker is legit? So, for an example, NOVATECH it's claiming that it's a legit Forex broker. Is that right, guys?
Yes, as you know, where they are permitted to trade Forex, they are registered and legit, because not everybody's permitted in every country and every territory to actually trade Forex or crypto. Certain countries are not allowed to trade crypto, and I know they don't trade crypto in the USA, for instance. And it's not that they can't; it's that they don't want to go through all the hoops and all the tie themselves down to all the regulations to enable them to do that. Some companies do. It costs them a lot of money, and of course, the banks can maybe afford that and don't have a membership to pay out like NOVATECH do. So I can assume that for the banks it's okay. They don't mind jumping through the hoops and paying lots of money to people like the FCA and whatnot, and other security commissions to keep their businesses running. But for us, we have to pay a membership. So you'll find that if you look back at NOVATECH and their history, what they've done is where it's going to cost them a lot of regulation and a lot of hassle and money to register with some of these companies who are tied in with the banks. Don't forget. Then that will seriously restrict their ability to pay out members what they do. So they don't do it. So they're regulated as far as legally they're regulated, but they're not going to be regulated with companies like the Financial Commission's authority, because they don't need to. And as Sparky just put in the thing, they're registered in the Cayman Islands there, so whatever.
And guys, we've been in this business a long time. Most companies would not survive in the USA if they weren't above board. Remember that. Other countries they can, but the USA is very, very strict on how companies operate.
FinTech
as well, yeah.
Extremely tight organisation, yeah. So and they
so you're guys talking from a banking point of view, Georgie, and we're not a bank, and we're not involved with banks. Banks do things differently.
No.
So when
we're talking about the legit part of the things that NOVATECH is doing. This is what he asked me. In particular, he asked me.
But he's asking it from that sort of point of view, the banking point of view. You see, there are companies out there that do financial advice, who do investments.
Mm-hmm.
We don't give financial advice.
Yeah,
that's the thing about it. Thank you for that, Joy. Hopefully you got a better answer there anyway. But I'd like to move on to the next part, because really we need to get on, because otherwise we're going to be quite late.
Yeah, that really is. We're wrapping up fairly soon, guys. I want to finish.
We'll just do a few quick ones, and then next week we might do the other way around.
This will leave me in quite well, I think, because I think Andy said he had a question he was asking, which was to do with rejection, I think. And are you there, Andy? Do you want to let us know what your what you were going to ask?
So I walk in the dog. So you're in my pocket. You hear me all right?
No, you sounds like you're away from the mic. Sounds like you're in a tin can or something. It's kind of a bit
Because I'm out walking the dog.
right. Okay.
So yeah, it was just dealing with people's. Well, that can't be true. It's another scam.
Skepticism.
Yes, thank you, Dan. Yes.
Yeah.
In a discussion, and I'll speak to Derek about any more questions. And thank you. It's great. It's great.
Okay. I think I got that. I kind of, it's a bit broken there, Andy. But let me try and cover that and interrupt if I'm not sort of covering it right. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of skepticism, and to be honest, Andy, there's 99% of the stuff you see out there, online things, whatever, especially during COVID, when everybody's kind of trying to make a living and get themselves together, and people are suffering. There's 99% of stuff that's floating about there is not good. It's not really legit. It's not good, and so I can understand that. And the way you cover those sort of things, it's simply covering objections like that. It's what I tend to do, and what I think is good advice is to use feel, felt, found. And people like that, they say, well, yeah, it's another scam. I mean, some people just can't convince, Andy. Some people they're just skeptics, and that's it. And I don't know if you, I've never seen the monument erected to a famous skeptic. Have you? It doesn't happen, does it? So skeptics, if they're hard and fast skeptics, they're never going to move forwards, and you move on to the next one. However, there are certain things you can cover. I tend to use feel, felt, found. And it's very legitimate, because, as I said, most of the stuff you see out there is not legitimate. It's kind of people just after you, taking money off you for whatever reason. So I just say to people, look, I know you feel. I felt exactly the same way. But look, this is what I've found, and there's these guys have got a good track record. They don't have, crazy claims about, there are companies out there who promise you 5% returns and stuff like that per week. Okay. However, the only way they can do that is by taking new money to pay old people, old members, and that essentially is a Ponzi, or part of it starts looking like a Ponzi. So when you look at these guys and what they do, their track record is literally, they don't make big claims, So if the trades are not going right, they'll actually stop the trading and return us like they did last week, 1.18% or whatever it was, rather than promise they're going to pay us 3% or more. So that indicator itself tells us that it's a legit company, and they're actually profit based and not based on commission, or they're not paying old members with new money. Okay, so that's a good one. But yeah, but covering those objections, so you can only cover them so far before hopefully not all questions are negative. In fact, all questions are quite positive. If they make negative statements, that's different. But again, we're going to cover some of these more intricate things, I think, as we move on through these trainings. But essentially, the best way to cover an objection initially is use feel, felt, found. I know you feel, I felt the same way. This is what I found. And then you can point them in the right direction to what you've got, what It's all in their back office. All your videos and all your training and all what NOVATECH do is there, and you can quite easily point them towards that. If they go Googling stuff online, I tend to warn people as well when I'm speaking to people about this opportunity, and I'll talk about it. A lot hand in hand with me talking about NOVATECH, I will tell people, and I kind of use third parties. I'll say, look, you know what? You look at this. I know people who go looking at stuff on Google. You know how daft that is. Why would you go looking on Google to find? If you had a toothache, you wouldn't go googling about it, would you? To find somebody who's going to pull your tooth out for you. Because Google is just it's a search engine, not a research tool. So you'll find nonsense on there. There's a lot of them on there. They just clickbait. They just want your mate. So you steer them away from that. That's how you can steer people away from Google. And just kind of laugh it off. But yeah, feel, felt, found's a good one. So let them know that you know they feel, and maybe you felt the same way, and that what you found was that they're a legitimate company because of A, B, C, D, whatever, and it's all in your back office. Does that help, Andy? He's quiet again. Can't hear him.
Things like walking and talking.
Yes, that's great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. So all the evidence is there for you to just, but don't try and convince people. You don't need to convince people about anything. You know, it stands on its own feet. This business. It's got a good track record in fourth year now, 3.5 years coming up. So of consistent returns for their members. Everybody gets paid every week, which is fantastic. Ross,
I'd just like to add something into that, Colin, before we move on, Ross. One thing I'd like to say, guys, you know, if you're actually having those sort of questions, perhaps you're actually going in too quick. So Colin and I talk about this regularly. You know, there's a bit called it's discovery. When you talk to somebody, be it a good mate, a friend, or whatever, discover what their needs are first. Don't go and pitch them on something you've heard about. Or so it sounds like a pitch. It sounds salesy. You know, find out what they want. Find out, you know, exactly where they are in life. You know, somebody might be completely happy with where they are in life, but they'll need something. You know, it might be that they want to go on more holidays. It might be that they, you know, want to pay off their debts. It might be that they want more money than month. You know, there are all these sort of things that you want to find out. And I find that when I ask those sort of questions about people, and I show that I'm genuinely caring about their well-being, then I never have people asking me silly questions, because I'll finish off with saying, look, I can't promise you anything, Ross, but listen, I'll show you something that may be able to help you deal with the situation. Would that be okay? I even ask permissions. Would that be okay? And simple things like that make a massive difference. Massive.
Yeah, exactly, Derek. That's what I was going to say. You know, find out people's needs, wants, don't wants. I mean, essentially, I'll get to in a second, Ross. Essentially, you'll find that most people, you know, are looking for something, especially now. Most people are, you know, living lives of quite desperation, I think Thoreau said, you know, and that's true. A lot of people just don't like what they're doing right now. So their initial motivation is going to be what they don't want. But Questions are the Answers. There's a good book on that, by the way, by Alan Pease, I think. Yeah, Questions are the Answers. It's a great book, a great read, but it essentially means that ask questions. That's the thing. Ask questions of people. You know, I speak to people and I say, ask them what they're doing. Take a genuine interest in what they're doing. That's great. And then just ask how that's working out for them. Whatever they're doing, you know, whatever job it is they're doing, you know, how's that working out for you? Is that going great? If they say, yeah, it's fantastic, you know, yeah, brilliant, it doesn't give you much leverage, but you find 9 times out of 10 people say, well, it's great, it's good, but you know, crikey, I'm working all these hours, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. There's always a negative side to it or downside to it. So look, you know what? You know, if you had the opportunity, would you be able to? Would you be interested in maybe looking at something that could solve that for you? Maybe get some more time back for you or whatever. You know, maybe would you like to spend more time with your kids, better holidays maybe. Find out what their wants are and what their needs are and what their don't wants are. That's essentially. So I'm not going to go too deep into that. We're going to cover some of that again as we go on. So we're going to try and wrap this up. We're just coming up to the hour now. By the way, thank you, Derek. And before I finish off with yourself, Ross. Thanks, Derek, very much for explaining the concept. I understand it a lot better now because I run around. You know, those of you who know me, I'm a blue type character. If you don't understand that, we're going to cover some of that later on. But I'm outgoing, people oriented, and I don't do much in the way of details, facts, figures, and cross the T's. Neither does Derek, by the way. So he's had to work very hard on those slides.
Taken me a couple of days to.
And yeah, absolutely. So yeah, thank you very much for that, Derek. I actually understand. Yeah, I just muddled my way through. I got to what's that thing? Executive, no, junior executive, yeah, with and I still don't know what a conversation plan is all about. And so there you go. So don't worry, there's hope for us all. So sorry, Ross, you had your hand up. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Colin. I just agree with what you've just said and Derek's just said. You need to find out what their needs, wants, and don't wants are. You could offer someone in a garage a full tank of petrol and start filling their tank up. And they go, whoa, what are you doing? They'd love a free tank of petrol, but if you haven't asked them the questions yet, have you got any petrol in your tank? Is it half full? Is it diesel? Is it unleaded? If you just get out and start doing it, like asking them straight away, they'll go, whoa, they'll get all defensive. Now, the people in this country have been conditioned by the television and by the politicians to not expect very much. That's why what we've got is so incredible. They're all into trying to find it's a defensive thing as far as they're concerned. They're sort of like back off a bit. Come on, oh, well, this is a Ponzi scheme, isn't it? I've heard about this, or it's a pyramid scheme. And of course, these are all sort of classic stuff that people trot out. But if you present it in the way that Derek and Colin says, by asking them questions and what are their goals, what they like to do, they like to go on holiday, then you've got them on side. You're not trying to stuff something down their throat. So that's so important. And if we just follow these two guys, we'll all do really, really well. So it's exciting stuff. Thanks very much.
Just on the pyramid scheme, Ross, if somebody asks you or tells you it's a pyramid scheme,
Yeah.
actually say to them, I've done this to somebody. I said, well,
So what is a
that's
pyramid
interesting.
scheme?
What is a pyramid scheme?
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody actually said to me, oh, I know somebody who made a lot of money in that. And I said, oh, right. Okay, well, this is
This is what I mean. Yeah.
so, it's not always negative. Ask them
Yeah.
what they understand by it. That's
Yeah.
really important. Yeah.
Or say, where do you work? And they say, well, I work for the local authority. Right, okay, is your local authority not a pyramid scheme? You've got the boss at the top, you've got his key people, then you've got the people below that. Everything is a pyramid. So pyramids are not a bad, it's not a bad thing.
No,
it's
right.
just
But you won't get those questions if you do actually do
Yeah.
the discovery in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So you find that those of us who've been around now, bear in mind that for those who don't know me, some of you don't know myself, but those who don't know me, then you'll know that when I got involved in network marketing some 30 years ago, I never sponsored anybody for 6 months. I was out there looking for victims, and but I never actually sponsored anybody for 6 months. It's incredible, until I learned how to cover these things, and it's not that difficult. Well, once you get to it, now, those of us who've been around network marketing long enough, we understand those principles of finding out what people's wants, needs, and don't wants, and then we don't get if you've been around this kind of thing for long enough, we just don't get, Derek and I, we just don't get negative responses. We don't get people coming and say, oh, is that a pyramid, or is it that, is it this? We just don't get that, and that's because we have the right posture and the right approach from the start, and find out people's needs, wants, don't wants. And that might sound it, but we'll cover this. We're going to wrap up in a sec, but we're going to cover these in more detail a bit later on, but in other meetings. But it's all about your posture, how you come across, how that person perceives you, and they need to know that you're doing them the favour and it's not the other way around. Okay, that's the key thing. And then you won't get those kind of responses. That's it, essentially. So what I'm going to say to you guys, we're going to wrap up now. It's been great, and thanks again, Derek and Ross, for your input, and anybody else. But what I would like to do, guys, if you can, whether in Derek's team, my team, whoever's team you're in, if you've got things, feedback, any little questions in the meantime, of what you want from these, don't forget this is your meetings, your time, your opportunity to learn. So if you've got anything, suggestions, whether you want to feed back to me, myself, Derek, or through your upline, as to content on these as we unfold, we're going to be covering the basics. But if there's anything you think you want to put in there, then please feed it back, and we can work on that and help you guys to move your businesses on. And there's no such thing as a daft question. The only daft question is the one that you don't ask. So just throw them in there, and that can help Derek and I to tailor this to you, to help you guys best. And that's really what we're all about, isn't it? Is helping you guys the best we can. And so that's why we have these meetings. So great. Thanks for all turning up and being here and your support. Thank you again, Derek. Can't thank you enough for that.
Thank you everyone. Thank you, Colin.
Nobody's got anything else, we'll wrap that up, and then we'll see you here next week.
Yeah. Goodbye, everyone. Let me just
unmute everybody.
They can unmute themselves.
Brilliant. Okay, guys. We'll see you later.
Thanks very much. Great meeting, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.